We lost it.
Hey, Shalom. We the ISUPK, out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And the Commanding General Yohana, Priest and Officer Dayala. This is the Wednesday night law class. Here teaching the law. You got any questions pertaining to the law or anything else? You can raise your hand. If not, we can move on. You got any questions online, just type them in. The brother gonna notify me. Any questions in the room?
Not at the moment, sir.
Not at the moment. What about you, brother? Any questions?
Not yet, sir.
All right, cool. All right, we're gonna go in. I need to start keeping a bookmark to find out where the hell I'll be leading off at. All right, let's go in. Hold on. Sorry, we'll see what it is. Is there somebody out there?
And it's Captain on my shots.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit, that shit look like somebody kicked the door. All right, number 6 and 1. You can grab that. Number 6 and 1. This is the law of the Nazarite. Damn, yeah, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. Got here just in time. Yeah, you could get number 6 and 1.
Everything's well, sir?
Yeah. You said that's Captain Zarwa?
Captain on my shots.
Oh, he probably bringing the signs in?
Oh,
All right, bet. When you get it, you can grab me number 6 and 1.
All right.
Let me see.
Numbers, chapter 6, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite, separate themselves unto the Lord. He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink. Neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dry. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk.
Right. This is, we good online?
come, sir.
This is the law of the Nazarite, right? So if you were to become a Nazarite or you want to raise your kid up to be a Nazarite, this is the requirement to do it, right? And I'm bringing this out because there's something in particular in here that I heard somebody say about this, that they had a misunderstanding about it. Go ahead.
Salaki, so what is a Nazarite?
A Nazarite is a vow that you make when, as we read on, it's going to explain it. So some people might have 2 kids, right? So you might have a son, your firstborn son, and you might say, I want him to be a Nazarite for the Most High. So in order for him to be a Nazarite, like I said, as we read on, it's going to explain exactly what it is. It's just an oath that a father makes between him and the Lord, and you give your son for it. So let's read it from the top.
Numbers chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass on the day that Moses had fully set up.
No, 6 and 1, that's it.
Numbers chapter 6, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either a man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of the Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink.
Now read it say, whether a man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow to be a Nazarite. So they're going to make a vow to the Most High to be a Nazarite. So read on.
He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink.
He can't drink. He can't drink at all. No wine and no liquor. Read on.
Or vinegar or strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes of dry. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk. All the days.
Anything that got anything to do with liquor, he can't drink it. And this is all in the vow. So if you want to be a Nazarite, you can't ever drink liquor. Not ever drink liquor until the vow is up, and it's going to say it too. So read.
Numbers chapter 6, verse 5. All the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head, until the days be fulfilled in which he separated himself unto the Lord.
See, now, when he make a vow, he's going to separate himself unto the Lord. So he's going to separate himself for the Lord for a certain time. So it's going to be a set time in his head when he make the vow. So it ain't, you could do it to where it's though, hey, I'm going to do this forever. Or you could just be like, look, I'm going to do it until, well, a father could give his son and be like, look, we're going to keep this going till my son 30. So until he 30, he can't drink and he can't bring no razor upon his head at all. So read on.
Until the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head, until the days be fulfilled, in the which he separateth himself unto the Lord. He shall be holy, and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow.
Now, until then, he shall be holy, and he shall let the locks of his hair grow. He shall let his hair grow. You can't cut it whatsoever. You can't cut it short. You can't trim it. You can't even snip the edges. You got to keep it how it is until your vow is up. You can't cut it. And can't take not even 2 centimeters off. You just, it can't. No razor could touch your head at all. Read on.
Numbers chapter 6, verse 6. All the days that he separated himself unto the Lord, he shall come at no dead body.
Now, he can't even come around a dead body. So meaning, when funerals come up, he can't even attend. Even if it's a mom, dad, no matter who it is, he can't attend no funerals. Why? He can't become unclean. He can't attend no funerals whatsoever. Read on.
He shall not make himself unclean for his father or for his mother, for his brother, or for his sister, when they die, because the consecration of his God is upon his head.
Now, he can't make himself unclean for nobody, regardless of who it is. Regardless of who it is, the Lord don't care if it's your mom, dad, brother, sister. You cannot become unclean for them, so you can't come around their dead body. Read.
All the days of his separation, he is holy unto the Lord. And if any man die very suddenly by him, and he hath defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the seventh day shall he shave it.
Now, if somebody happened to die around him, you know, he out chilling with somebody and he just happened to just drop dead. He ain't even know. They out talking, having a good time. Then he just dropped dead. Then that's not his fault. On the seventh day, he got to shave his head. So, meaning what? On the seventh day when he become clean, he got to shave his head. What does it mean to shave his head?
I would say, since he's been growing his locks and not been cutting his hair, it's kind of like he's starting over again.
Yeah, that's what it means. But when they say shave his head, meaning what? Like he gonna shave his head, but okay. How can I say it without giving it away? All right, shaving his head, starting over, mean what? How do you start over once he shaves his head? Like, okay, for somebody to start over, what does it look like when they shave their head?
Like a baby.
Like bald or low cut? Go ahead.
I would say bald.
Nope. What you would say, Nakar?
Pole is here.
Pole
is here.
You said what?
Pole is here.
What's that?
Like cut. Cut some of his hair.
Nope, not some. It said shave his. It said shave his head.
Shave his head.
Mm-hmm.
Get a body.
Nope. That's the confusing part that's the part that I wanted to bring out because I heard people break it down like that.
I would say just shave it real low because as Israelites, you're not allowed to put a razor to our head, so
Right.
shave it real low.
Or not allowed to put a razor to our head and do what to it? Now, are we allowed to cut our hair?
Yeah.
But what are we not allowed to do when cutting our hair?
Mark corners.
And what else? What else are we not allowed to do when we cut our hair? We not allowed to get shape ups, and we not allowed to do something else when cutting our hair. You know? Let me know if somebody type it online. Okay?
Any type of baldness about right here?
Yep, get a baldy. So we not allowed to shape it up, or we not allowed to get a bald head, but we can cut it real low. So when it say shave his head, it just means shave the locks off, and he just gonna have a little cut because it ain't in our tradition to get a full baldy. That's Egyptian custom. Now, are we allowed to get baldies? Are we allowed to cut our hair off? Are there some examples where we can cut our hair off? Like, is there some situations where you can cut your hair bald, your head bald? Nakar?
If you already going bald.
Right. Like if you're starting to go bald in the middle, you can shave it all off to even it out. Then you can get a baldy to even it out. Because naturally, your hair is going to go this, and then eventually it's all going to come out. You're just going to have a little George Jefferson's. Now, then you can shave this off to even it out because technically your hair on where it's going bald at, that's going to naturally be your scalp and naturally be where your hair is at. So you can cut the rest off to even it out. I know some brothers who they had like a little ball. It was just right here, and just to save themselves from the shame and all the heartbreaking from seeing your hair go, they just cut it all off, just let it go. Now, in that instance, you can get a balding when you starting to naturally go bald, because eventually, I mean, some brothers could wait and walk around with like 2 braids on the side. That's up to them. And some brothers be like, man, damn that. I'm gonna just put myself out my misery and just shave it all off. So it is some instance where going bald would not be a sin or whatnot. Because us as men, we naturally go bald anyway. We hit a certain age, and sometimes the hair just fall out, and there's nothing we can do about it or whatnot. So you can read on.
Numbers chapter 6, verse 9. And if any man die very suddenly by him, and he have defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the 7th day shall he shave it. And on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons to the priest, to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and make an atonement for him, for that he sinned by the dead, and shall hallow his head that same day. And he shall consecrate unto the Lord the days of his separation, and shall bring a lamb of the first year for a trespass offering. But the days that were before shall be lost, because his separation was defiled.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the law of the Nazarite. When the days of the separation are fulfilled, he shall be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall offer his offering unto the Lord, 1 he-lamb of the first year without blemish for a burnt offering, and 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish for a sin offering, and 1 ram without blemish for peace offerings, and a basket of unleavened bread, cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, and wafers of unleavened bread anointed with oil, and their meat offering and their drink offering, and the priest shall bring them before the Lord, and shall offer his sin offering and his burnt offering. Mm-hmm. And he shall offer the ram for a sacrifice of peace.
You could drop that. It's just going into what he got to give if somebody dropped dead around him. Let's go to Exodus 21:1. You got any questions, brother?
Does the Nazarite vow have anything to do with Nazareth or being a Nazarene?
Mm-hmm. That's why it's the vow. So meaning that's a vow that set forth from them or whatnot to, like, anybody could take the vow to just do it. It was just certain customs and things that they kept.
So you don't have to be a Nazarene.
Nah, you don't have to be that. Nope. It's a brother right now who that's in the school, and 2 of his sons he took the Nazarite vow and whatnot. So yeah, you don't have to. That's why read. I think it was verse 1 we read. Of Numbers 6:1.
Numbers chapter 6, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of the Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord.
See, when he says speak to the children of Israel, when anyone wants to, when man or woman wants to separate themselves to a vow of the Nazarite. So meaning anybody from the children of Israel who want to separate themselves and take this vow, then they can. And then it goes on and tell you what they have to do to take the vow, because this is what the Nazarites have to do. So if you want to do the Nazarite law, this is what you have to do. So read that one more time.
Numbers chapter 6, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either a man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of the Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord. He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink.
Now, Nakar, do me a favor.
Come, sir.
Give me the definition of Nazarite and it don't matter, the compact or the what's the name, or the big one. So we actually gonna read the definition to show you what is who was the Nazarite. Do you know who was the Nazarite? You know who was the Nazarite?
So like who were they?
Yeah.
The priests?
Yeah, okay. I asked that because I thought you, okay, because the way you asked the question, I thought you was thinking Nazarites was a nation, like was a race of people.
Yes, sir. The reason why I asked was because I know Yahweh was born in Nazareth, right?
No, Christ was born in, Nazareth. Yeah.
So,
Oh, that was a place.
right. So I was asking if everybody from, if the Nazarite vow had anything to do with the people of Nazareth.
Yeah. Okay, from where he was from.
Right.
Oh, no. That was two different things. Because Christ wasn't a Nazarite. So that was just where the place was called. So the people that came out of that land, that wasn't, that was two different things. That was just where the land was named after. Okay, so I get it. You can still read it though.
Come. So wasn't Solomon that right? Not Solomon, Samson?
I don't know. Hold on, let me see.
I believe he was.
I believe he was too.
Because the vows, I think the vows that he took, all of them was broken.
You might be right. You can read that.
Come, Nazarite. An Israelite who consecrated himself or herself and took a vow of separation and self-imposed abstinences for the purpose of some special service.
Right. So hold on. Read that one more time.
Come. An Israelite who consecrated himself or herself.
Yeah, Israelite. So that's what Nazarite was just an Israelite. So go ahead and read again. I'll read on.
An Israelite who consecrated himself or herself and took a vow of separation and self-imposed abstinence for the purpose of some special service. The question of whether the concept of the Nazarite was indigenous to Israel has often been asked. It will appear that the practice and separation for religious purpose is very ancient and is shared by a number of people. In Israel, however, is assumed unique proportions. Its regulatory laws are laid down in Numbers 6:1-23. There were two different types of Nazarisms, the temporary and the perpetual, of which the first type was far more common. In fact, we know only of three of the last class: Samson, Samuel, and John the Baptist. That was pretty much they got.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And Samson was the only example given, really, of a Nazarite. So he was a Nazarite, and then it showed what happened. Because just like the brother said, once all the things that he was not supposed to do, once they got broken, we seen what happened. What happened afterwards. So Samson was a Nazarite, and it was an example of the Nazarites. So right now, what we just read is the law of the Nazarite. If you want to be a Nazarite, what you got to do. And Samson was a Nazarite, and what happens once all that get broken. So was that it? No, other brother. That was it. You had any more questions?
Yes, sir.
You said that was it? All right, cool. I think, where had us go? Exodus 21:1. Will somebody get Exodus 21:1? Could y'all read it? The car. Could you give me some more of that fruit juice back there? And you could hit me up on the strong too. The water. When somebody get it, they could read it. Exodus 21:1.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 1. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them.
The water.
If thou buy a Hebrew servant, if thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years shall he serve. In the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him.
Right, now, this is the law on if you have somebody that's working for you. Of course, that's a Hebrew, so it's a law. 6 years, he's going to serve you. In the 7th year, let him go free. Whatever, if he came in working for you with nothing, then he go out with nothing. Now, why is it saying the 7th year he go free? Anybody know? Go ahead.
I would assume that's how many years Abraham served his master for his wife.
Yeah, but why only 7? Well, 6 years, and then the 7th he go free. Go ahead.
The 7th represents the Sabbath.
Nope. And when you say represent the Sabbath, what you mean?
In our creation.
The 7th was the rest?
Yes.
Okay, you own it, but that's not really why. Like, the reason I say no, because you don't want to tie that in and like philosophize it, and then somebody be like, oh, well, you gotta prove it or whatnot. I mean, the 7th day, it was basically like you work for him for 6 years and you let him go free. You're not working him to death. It was just like rules we had. So it was just like, you're not gonna work for me for 20 years and get nothing out of it. You know what I mean, so like Esau do. Motherfuckers come in. Like, I know some lady, I was sleeping at this one kid. Man, she was like 60 something. And she said she was working there since she was like 18. I'm like, damn, that is crazy. And she eventually ended up retiring, but I'm like, that's a long time to just retire enough and make enough money that can probably hold you over until you die. But I done seen tons of people who was older and they was McDonald's and jobs like that. And then you always come to find out it was when they retired, it just wasn't enough money. They retired with it. They didn't have enough money, so they eventually had to come back, end up back working, or they didn't do good with their little retirement plan or whatnot. So they ain't had no money to retire with. So they just can't. They just gotta keep working. But it's just because they really working for nothing. Esau, you just work, do away with you or whatnot. You don't get nothing out of it. So let's read on.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 4. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself.
Now, if you working, and if the master give you somebody to marry, and she have kids when you leave, then the wife and the kids still it belongs to the master, so they stay and whatnot. When you free of working with them, read on.
And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him into the judges.
Mm-hmm.
He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his heir through with an awl.
Meaning what? He's saying, look, I love my master, I love my wife and my kids. The master gonna bring him to the judge for what? To show, listen to what he's saying. So y'all don't think that I'm holding this guy hostage and making him work forever to not make him a slave. He want to work. Because somebody could walk by and be like, yo, it's been like 10 years. What is he still doing there? He said he want to work for me. How do we know? So to avoid any confusion in the future, look, your time is free. You can go. Nah, but look, man, I love you. You've been good to me. You know, I love my wife. I love my kids. So the master's going to be like, all right, well, come on. I'm going to take you to the judges of Israel. You say that in front of them so we can have this down pat. And then they say, take his ear onto the door. And what did it say with the owl?
Do with an awl.
What do that mean? So what do we do? Yep, he gonna pierce his ear. He gonna pierce his ear as a sign of he worked for me. And he said he wanna work for me. He said he don't wanna go nowhere. So this is a sign to show that he's happy here. I don't want y'all to think that I'm holding him hostage. So we gonna pierce his ear. Read on.
And he shall serve him forever.
He gonna serve him forever. Why he serving him forever? Because he said he wants to, and what else? What else? What else? He said he want to work for him forever. And what's another reason why he's saying? Go ahead.
Because he want to remain a family. He want to stay with his family.
Yeah, he want to stay with his wife, his kids, and all that. So he know, damn, if I leave from out here, I can't take them with me because the only reason I got them was he gave them to me because I was working for him. So, man, to keep them, I might as well work. I might as well, work for him. I love this guy. He been good to me anyway. I ain't got no reason to go nowhere else. What's the point of going to work somewhere else when this guy been excellent to me, man? He gave me a wife. Out of that wife, I got some kids. I love it here. You know what? I'm gonna work for you forever, so we can stay together. Read on.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 7. And if a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the maidservants do. If she please not her master, who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. And if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these
You get another
three
wife?
unto her,
If you got one wife and you end up getting another one, then nothing should change between the wives. You know, that's a law on killing Christian church doctrine, whereas though I love you, but I can't have y'all both. So I'm gonna just do away with you so I can get her. Nah, you keep both of them. Or you get an extra wife and you decide to keep both of them. You get another wife and decide to keep both of them. The first one, the duty shouldn't change. You shouldn't treat her no different. You know, of course, the only thing that's going to change is time, because now you got to manage the time between everybody. But the duty shouldn't change. What's the duty? The sex shouldn't change. You shouldn't sleep with her less. Most cases, you got to sleep with her more. You know, so that's just the reality of it. So I mean, the normal, regular stuff y'all used to do, you cannot stop doing because you got somebody else. That is one way to destruction. Your wife is not going to have that. She's going to be right. She's going to be right to not put up with it. Hey, what this nigga go get another woman and think he going to move? No more movie night. All right, we gonna see about that. He talking about no more movie night. Cause what? So read on.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 11. If he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money.
Now this was, of course, or if he don't do these things, what are the three things? The food, her raiment, and the duty of marriage. If he don't do these three, she should go. What did it say? She shall go out free without money. Meaning what? She is free from him. She don't got to deal with him, right? But there was also a law that was not so. That fits into the law of divorce, where certain things Moses allowed because he seen how we handled each other. You know, he seen how it would turn out if he didn't allow divorce. So he just, listen, we ain't gonna have no more Israelites left if I don't let them divorce. They gonna be killing each other. I mean, every time I turn around, they arguing and damn near killing each other. So look, let her go out free. She don't get no money for it. I mean, she don't get no money. You know, so, and that's where America mainly based their divorce laws off of too. A lot of the stuff in the Old Testament or whatnot. She not happy. It's just not working out. He not doing what he's supposed to do. They try to base it off of the Bible. This says she should go out free without money. But of course, America, if she's just not happy, then that's good enough. They let you do divorce because in the Old Testament, it was a bill of divorce. So they still try to honor that. So you could come to court and he was a good man. He did everything. I just wasn't happy anymore. Bam, you can get a divorce just based off of that. I mean, which is not supposed to be so. So read on. And this going into something else too. This is good right here too. Verse 12.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 12. He that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death.
Now, if you hit a man so he can die, you gotta die. If you hit somebody so he died, then you gotta die. Read on.
And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee.
Meaning what? If a man lie in wait and God deliver him into your hands, then I'm going to point you into a place where you can flee. What does that say? So you got one instinct: if you hit somebody and he died, then you got to die. If you hit him so he can die, then you got to die. You smite him, you can punch him with the intention of killing him and he died. You hit him over the head with something and he died. Then you got to get put to death for that. But then there's all right, why do you get put to death for that? Go ahead.
Because it's intentional. You intended on killing him.
So what about the second part where it say, but if God deliver him into your hand? and you kill him. You kill him. So it's the same thing, like you intentionally kill him. The first part is like this. Well, anybody else want to give it a shot? What makes it different?
I'm like, I'm asking what?
Nah, you pointed it up. That made me think you don't know it. So what you say? Do like we used to do in high school. You call out somebody to read, you could tell who couldn't read, they put their head in. Hey, you right there. Damn, you call on me, man. But what you gonna say? All right, so if you smite a man with the intention on killing him, right, and he died, you gotta get put to death. But if God deliver him into your hands, then I'm gonna point you to a place to flee.
Basically, it's like a self-defense. Like,
What makes the first part being put to death different than the second part?
well, if you taking on vengeance, the vengeance is of the Lord's, and that's why,
What makes you say that? You correct, but what makes you say that?
I'm nice.
That too, but what made you say that?
Okay, one, I'm gonna say because I was very, in the world, I was a very visual person. I got checked a lot of times on it. So, you wanting to go out and go take somebody out.
I need the Bible. What made you say that? It's right in front of
Can
you.
you ask me the question again? Sorry.
What made you give that answer? On the first one is because you taking vengeance in your own hand.
Right. The second one?
No, what made you give that answer?
Thou shalt not murder.
Nope, it's right in front of you. Read that scripture. I'm gonna show you. You definitely correct, but it's right there in front of you. So read 12 again.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 12. He that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death.
You hit somebody, bang, hit him with a stick. You do something and he died, then you gotta be put to death. This is the only reason you get put to death. Read on.
And if a man lie not in wait,
You get put to death because you lie and wait for him. You was somewhere hiding, and then when you seen him, you popped out, bam, hit him, and he died. But the only way you don't get put to death if you don't lie and wait for him. So what happens if you don't lie and wait for him? Read.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 13. And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand.
God deliver him into your hands. You ain't lying, wait. What's God delivering him into your hands? Go ahead.
It's like somebody at camp. We ain't lying and waiting for him. Like, yeah.
No, all right. Give me this instance.
All right, this instance. All right, so I take it to the streets. A lot of cats will be, in the streets. It's like, oh yeah, he shot my man's, right? So now we got even the score. And you sit and you plotting on him and you go kill him. It wasn't on the self-defense where your man's call you like, yo, listen, I need you right now. And they keep circling the block. I got my strap on me. I'm naked out here. You coming in the speed of light, you're defending your brother from being killed. Instead of
All right, but this instance, give me this instance.
somebody.
Let me get a rubber shot.
Like you said, if you lie and wait for somebody, that means kind of like you lying and you sneak them. You sneak attack them. But if the Lord delivered you, then you gave him a fair one.
That and there's something else to it. Go ahead. Him being delivered into your hands. That's one instinct.
Okay.
Definitely one instance.
The Lord is on your side, delivering somebody into your hands. In this instance, it means that they're the wrongdoing. They're doing the wrong thing. They're the aggressor that is breaking the law, and you having to.
It's a part y'all missing. Y'all missing one part. Go ahead.
So if a person that done you wrong and you're not thinking about it and they happen to cross your path.
That's exactly it. Cause it's lying and waiting is you plotting, you sitting there, you pop out of the bushes. But you not lying and waiting, meaning you somewhere chilling and this nigga just happened to walk by slipping. You like, It's gotta be the law. Bah! Killing.
Oh, so, okay.
That was then. That was the Old Testament. You can't do that now. I mean, not to say that was the Old Testament, but that wouldn't be in the spirit of brotherhood. Go ahead.
So it's like you were saying, like if you out there, somebody do you wrong, and you plotting and scheming to get it back, to get vengeance on them.
Right.
You know what I mean? If somebody wrong your family, you're like, man, I'm plotting, planning to get this dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You go through all this trouble to sneak and hide, and see where he at, who he be with, and this and that. That's something different than he just rolling up and you like, oh, this nigga, oh, okay.
Right. And another instance too, right? You smite a man and he died with the intentions on killing him, you gotta get put to death. The Lord delivering them into your hands is another instance. You out chilling at a bar or something, minding your business. You just out somewhere minding your business. Somebody just happened to just start something. He just want to start something. You handle your business and he died. That's on that brother. So you got an instance where it's you lying and waiting, and then you just happen to see the nigga. And it's like, man, I wasn't looking for him, but he's here now. It's a wrap. Yeah, Jana?
Was this the spirit behind Yahweh saying, turn the other cheek?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Reason being is because a brother wronged you, right? And turned the other cheek. It's like, I could do something to this brother, but when I was once in his situation, somebody could have did something to me. I just happened to get away with it. I mean, so for me to take vengeance on him when I damn sure should have been got a long time ago for the stuff that I did, you know what? He got it. He don't even see you half of the time, and you just plotting like turning the other cheek would be let him slide, just keep on about my business. Like I done seen so many arguments on the internet, brothers will be like, yo, I'm not even worried about you. Yo, I seen you down 16th Street. You could have did something to you then. What? You ain't see me down on 16th Street? Why you ain't pop off? Yo, just go ahead about your business, man. I'm just telling you, I seen you. I could have got you then. It's not that serious, bro. Just do you. Just leave it at that. No, what you mean you seen me? Da-da-da-da. That's turning the other cheek. It's like, yo, I seen you and I could do something to you and not be in the right. But I'm not, because there was plenty of times where somebody could have did something to me and didn't. So I'm going to spare you this time because I was spared. You know, Lord knows I should have died a long time ago. So because somebody, gave me mercy, why shouldn't I not give you mercy? Because the next time I need mercy, it might not happen. I might not know why the hell somebody is blindsiding me or whatnot. You know what? Okay. We'll just rock out. And now what does it mean when it say he gonna appoint you to a city? Might gotta know a little bit about the law to know this one. He gonna point you to the city. What is this city? Anybody know? Let me know if anybody do it online. Had your hand up, brother?
Yes, sir. Where we at?
What's this? Exodus 21. What verse you at? Go ahead.
13.
13. You got your hand up? So what does it mean when it say, I'm gonna appoint you to a city?
place where you could lay low for a while.
Mm-hmm. In the law, it was a land. There was a place people would go if you like kill somebody on an accident, didn't mean it. If you kill somebody who killed like a loved one, and you in fear of the person you killed, family coming to kill you, but you was in the right to do it, there was a place where you can go and hide out for that. So a brother might do something to you, and in self-defense or something, you might kill him. And you be totally right. The judge may come down and you right for it. But you can't stop his family from being mad and wanting to seek vengeance for him and trying to kill you. So even the judges of the city couldn't stop the family from murdering you. So they would say, just go here, go to this town for a certain amount of time, and then when stuff died down, you can come back out. Like there was always places, like in the Bible, there were places for people who was born with like afflictions, for like midgets and dwarfs, and people who was born with like certain illnesses. So they won't mix with the people. All of y'all go over here and y'all can mix with each other. So y'all don't create more of those people. Y'all don't mix with each other and make them, and then mix with people who don't have these afflictions and make more. So to avoid that, y'all can keep it within y'all go here. There was also a place where it's like I know in the scriptures it say like one instance you cutting some wood with an axe, and you go to swing the axe and the head of the axe fly off, cut somebody's head off. That was an accidental kill. They family ain't gonna be trying to hear that. Like what? It was an accident. You cut his head off. They ain't gonna be trying to hear the head of the axe flew off. But the judges of the city might do an investigation and be like, damn, it was an accident. Everything he said lined up. The axe, it flew off. It was weak. It flew off, cut the person's head off. All right, look, you're not going to get put to death for doing that, but you're going to have to go here for a little while to avoid his family from seeing you. A certain amount of time might go by and the family might not be that angry anymore. But until then, you got to go over here. If not, you're not going to be safe in the city. They going to kill you, and they ain't even going to they ain't even going to care about getting put to death. So because they don't care about getting put to death to avenge the blood of their brother, they're going to kill you. You don't want to die. It's better to go over to this city. People who haven't, committed these acts won't be allowed to get in that city to find you. So you might as well just go over there. So that's what it means when they say there's a city that I'm point you to. So it was when certain things happen, there were certain cities you can go to be safe from the family of the person. Read it one more time. Read it from 13 where it says, then I will appoint thee a place to flee.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 13. And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee.
Well, read 13. Then I will. Oh, yeah. Okay, that was it. So that's it right there. He's going to appoint him a place to flee. Why? He didn't lie and wait for this man to kill him. This guy was delivered into his hands, and he died. So because he was in the right for doing it, you got to go to this place. You got to flee to this place to avoid the family of this person you killed anger. Read 18. Jump down to 18.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 18. And if men strive together, and one smite another with a stone, or with his fist, and he die not, but keepeth his bed, if he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed.
Now, when they say if two men strive together, and he smite one with a stone or with his fist, and he died not, but keepeth his bed. What do that mean?
That means he healed up. Like you ain't killed him. He rested for a little while, went to the hospital or whatever, and he healed up.
Mm-hmm. And what you was gonna say, brother?
Pretty much the same thing.
Same thing? Yeah, y'all both correct. Read verse 19. Start at verse 19.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 19. If he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit.
Meaning what? What does it mean if he rise again? Go ahead.
If he, that's again after he healed up, after he get up out of his bed, he didn't die. He healed from his wounds and his injury.
This is one side. Yeah, go ahead.
So it said, for if men strive together, does that mean if they work together?
Nope, striving is like fighting. Like they striving. They fighting or something. And as they fighting, one of the brothers pick up a stick or something or a stone and hit him with it. And it injured him really bad to the point where he don't die, but, you know, when he healed, he got to walk on a staff, meaning like a cane for a little while from it. I mean, it's basically saying like you should never get to a point where if y'all fighting where you really pick up something and really just hurt this brother. I mean, just cause. I mean, y'all get into a little rumble and you pick up a stick or something and you hurt this brother. Whereas though when he wake up and heal, he need a cane or something. You know, he need a cane to walk around with. Like having no discipline, you just fighting and you just wild out. The brother down, he knocked out, you just still hitting him, kicking him all in his head, throwing stuff on him. You just want to hurt this man. And they do that nowadays. I mean, I know somebody who got beat up at the slave. They got beat up real bad. And even though it was a fight, you know, they ended up fighting. He ended up losing. The brother kind of took it too far. Really hurt him. He beat the hell out of him. It was like, all right, when you want to fight, you want to fight. Just walk away. But the brother can't smell. He can't taste really. Like he beat the senses out this nigga. Now that brother went right to the cops or whatnot, sued the brother, sued the slave, and he won. You took it a little too far. When you had me down and I'm sleeping and all that, you didn't need to keep kicking me and punching me and all that. And when you slammed me on my head and seen I was done from then, you ain't have to go no more. Everything after that was just extra, which is why even in a street fight today, you have a regular street fight where nobody get injured, the police won't even come. But if somebody knocked out, sleep on the sidewalk and bleeding, then the police gonna come and it's just like, all right, this is assault now. Like you won the fight and you just decided to keep going on after you done won. You know, he down and out and you just keep kicking him. Keep kicking him, keep kicking him. You can go to jail for that. You can lose a lot of money for that. Read on.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 19. If he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed.
So the time that he lost from you hurting him, you got to pay for it. So if he was slaving or something, they couldn't slave because you didn't got into a fight with him and decided to hit him with something and injure him. When he's fully healed, until he's fully healed, you got to pay for all that time he lost. That's in the law. So you beat the hell out of brother, he lose $20,000 at work. You got to compensate him for that $20,000. You got to pay him weekly until he's fully healed. And when he's fully healed, then that's when you got to stop paying him. And of course, Esau do that as of today. They call it workman's comp. You get injured on the job, they pay you until you fully healed. They get that from the Bible. So until you fully healed, that brother got to pay you. I mean, read on.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 20. And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall be surely punished.
Right. So if you hit your maid or something hard enough till they die, you gotta get punished for that. Meaning what? Your maid do something, you gotta discipline them. They're not listening. Whatever they doing, going against the rules, whatever they doing, and you decide to discipline them for it, hit them for it, and they die, you didn't hit them too hard. You shouldn't hit them. You shouldn't hit your maid hard enough to where as though they die. You gotta pay for that. Read on.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 21. Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money.
Now, if he don't die, he's continue to be normal a day or two, then you good. That's your money, you good. You hit him, it seemed like it was hard. Okay, it wasn't that hard. He good. We gave it a day or two, he good. Man, this shows, man, how, I see a lot of atheists y'all might run into, but like to use scriptures like this to show how slavery was in the Bible and it was on the slave master side. They try to use scriptures like this, where it says servant and masters. They use terms like that. The smiting and all that. They try to use that to say, see, they had slaves back then or whatnot. But they skip over the part where it's like, if he worked for you for 6 years, he go free to 7, to show that this is a worker. And then they overlook terms like servant or master. When you look that up in the Hebrew, what do master mean in Hebrew?
Adonai.
In other words, mean what? And Adonai, master would mean Adonai, which mean what?
Lord.
Which mean what? Give me some of the terms.
Someone that is rank, that is Lord over you.
In other words, what?
Authority.
Somebody got authority, a teacher, a boss. Like that's all the term mean. Like a master, your boss would be considered a master or whatnot. But in the English term, it's just boss.
Right.
Or it could be a master. Or it could be a teacher. Your teacher who teach you stuff, whether it's fighting, whether it's training, whether it's school, elementary, they all consider teachers, in other words, would be masters. It depends on the context, but it's all the same word, but it depends on the context. So they'd take like slave masters, calling themselves masters, and be like, yo, it's using the term master in the Bible, and it's saying servant. You had your hand up?
Time check 836. If I could, when I was in the world, I studied a bunch of bull crap. And one thing that atheists do believe, when they want to try to say master, they believe in master teachers. Like, they believe in a master teacher. So whatever bull crap, religion, so-called spirituality they choose, they say, oh, the master teacher, or, read a bunch of different books where these people is supposed to be a master of what they're talking about. You go to school and get your masters. When I was like, a part of the conscious community was bullcrap. I was always told, yo, you want to master things. You want to master this, you want to master that.
Mm-hmm.
So be on point with it. So when somebody is teaching you, you understand, they are a master, they're teaching you. That's why in ISUPK we say con on con, because this man outranks me. The Lord chose him to be over me. So this is a Lord to me. Someone like you have a landlord. That landlord, if you don't got his money at the end of the month, he looking at you out. Like, hey, where's my bread? You gotta pay this late fee and stuff like that, because he is in charge of that property that you want. So a lot of people, like, of course, it's all Christianity. You know what I mean? They believe that you gotta serve your masters and this and that. No, if your master, if a man over you that the Lord chose, that's like Christ. And it's stupid because when they at work, guess what? They listening to their supervisor or their man.
Yeah.
Who is the master at that job. But with people being ignorant, that's why the Lord said our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Like, we understood rank and structure, we would be so, like, if people got, like, I remember Command General say, he said, if y'all gave me a week for me to teach y'all and y'all follow me for a week, this world would change. Christ would come back because everything would be in order and decency. Without having a man over you, you get what you get in the hood. You get the messed up household where now everybody is co-parenting. You have, like I was talking to my homie earlier, I said, how can you not come into this truth knowing that we got daughters out? We got daughters and we see it bad now. It's only going to get worse in the future. Right. We got kids. How can you show them how to fight demons if you don't even want to participate? You understand? In the training that your lords is putting out for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's real stupid to try to come against the truth. Because I always tell them, like, we went to training. God was like, yeah, the Bible contradicts and this and that, the nation of Islam, this and that. So I said, all right, but I ain't feel like really talking to him.
And not to cut you off, what's crazy about that too? Because like a lot of people that's into like them, like science and atheism, nothing contradicts itself more than science.
Right.
And science changes every year, and they tell you, you can't stick to one philosophy in science. And that's what an atheist told me one time. You can't stick to one philosophy in science because the next year there might be that same scientist can come out and tell you what he taught you last year wasn't the correct way and this is the correct way. So the doctrine to science changes all the time because it evolves or something. So you can't stick to one doctrine of it, which just sounds crazy to me. Because of course atheism proves that, you can't have evolution or creation or evolution without life first. Like, meaning what? Pit bulls or dogs come from what? Wolves. That's where they come from. You wouldn't have dogs without wolves. But how do you have dogs now? You want, let's say like a King Corso. You want a big ass dog. How do you do it? Man, that female wolf is big as hell. That male wolf is big as hell. You made them together. Then what happens? Eventually, somewhere down that line, you want to get a big ass dog. You take that big ass dog, whether it's a male or female, and you mate it with the other sex, and you keep doing it. Then over time, you start to have a whole line of big ass dogs. And it's the looks of them start to change. Meaning what? So you might got this one wolf who big as hell, but the fur's not that long as the other wolf. But I'm gonna mate them. So what happens? This big ass wolf that come out got short fur now. You take that one and you just keep mixing them. 1,000 years later, you got a King Corso. A goddamn big ass wolf with short hair. His real short hair is just big as hell. And you take that dog and you mix it again, then now you just have this King Corsos. A whole breed of King Corsos. That's all dogs are. Is this breed of wolves that over time, they came out to look how they was because the person that was breeding them knew what they wanted. I want a strong dog that's vicious and got a vicious lock, short, husky. I want the head nice and thick and everything, the neck nice and thick. 1,000 years later, you got pit bulls. You got pit bulls from breeding and breeding and breeding over time, because dogs is just the wolves is just the grandfathers to goddamn dogs. Is the ancestors of dogs. The only thing is the breeding over time is why dogs look how they look. That's the only reason. And without wolves, you wouldn't have goddamn dogs. Dogs, it wasn't out of, a pit bull just appear and they just mix it. Nah, you get that from certain wolves, and the wolves that they show us on TV that we see is not how all wolves look anyway. So we think wolves look like this. Nah, wolves look like goddamn dogs because that's what the hell they are. You just take them and you breed them together and you get whatever goddamn big ass animal or short animal that you want to come out with, and that's all it is. That's all it is, and that's it shows that evolution can't happen without life. So atheist thinks that everything has happened out of nowhere. Come on, man, it had to come from somewhere. Like it had to come from somewhere. Dogs didn't you can't find a dog 5,000-6,000 years ago. Where the hell did they come from? But dogs always been here. It's just, of course, now they more domesticated or whatnot. I'll be training. We can't handle goddamn wolves. But now you breed the wolves together and you get whatever type of dog you want. You train them up the right way. That's how we got dogs. Same thing with cats. All the animals, you name it. It's just how it works. But Salaki in the car, was that it?
Concert. If I could, shout out to community, for everything that he put out for us, it's like it makes us strong in here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, those cats, man, they can believe it. So much bull crap. And like I said, I was at camp and I asked the brother, like, okay, you say that the Bible contradicts itself. Show me the solution for our people. And show me the works that you've done and the fruits of your labor. Let me see. And he basically, I'm not make this up. So he said, how about businesses helping black businesses, this and that? I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm like, and he's like, yeah, I tell the young guys on the streets, man, instead of selling the weed in the streets, you might as well go get a business. I said, what? I said, we gotta talk. He's like, what you mean? I said, you condone our people getting high.
Right.
You condone our people getting high. This is why I'm done with this conversation. Like, you not fit the weed. You understand?
Right.
Like, don't try to come with the Bible. He was just sitting there, like, I'm done talking. Like, he kept trying to talk. I cut him off and I turned my back on him. Like, go ahead.
Right.
He went away a little upset, but, right now I tell brothers, it's like, what? They saying all that, but what are they doing?
Right.
Like these fake Israelite camps, they don't want to follow after the masses, the real masses that the Lord set out on the earth. Like we read it on Jeremiah chapter 23, how it said that he would punish, those pastors, these so-called leaders, and will raise up priests of his own, masters of his own. And that's why when you look inside these other camps, you got the leader twerking on stage. You understand? You have leaders, I don't like paraded, but dying. You understand? And being caught in fraud.
Right.
So many years. You can look at their structure. I had a brother from Sakari that used to be in the school. I said, how can you go to
I
a
think I know
camp?
who you talking about too.
Yeah, I said, how can you go to a camp where your leader got y'all structured outside home? He said, well, I do give y'all that, y'all structure and y'all discipline is there, but it's just not in the spirit. I said, your leader is he's putting y'all out there to die. I can go past your camp and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why the Lord said, man, it gotta be one body.
Right.
Listen, that man tell you to do something, do it. And that's what I do. And that's what we all do in ISUPK.
Right.
Only one that don't take no orders from a man is the man of Julian.
Right.
He take his orders from Christ.
That's rightfully so. You can finish that scripture you was over with me. I think we was in what, Exodus?
Exodus chapter 21.
Mm-hmm. I think it was at like 18, 19.
19. Exodus chapter 21, verse 19. If he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall cause him to thoroughly be healed.
Mm-hmm.
And if a man smite his servant or his maid with the rod, and he die under his hand, he shall surely be punished. Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, shall not be punished. He shall not be punished, for he is his money.
Right.
If men strive and hurt a woman child, so that her fruit depart from her,
I mean,
and yet no mischief follow.
if a woman pregnant and a man fight with her and her baby die, read after that, her fruit depart from her.
So that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished, according as the woman's husband will lay upon him.
Ooh, so meaning, if that woman got a husband, whatever he wants to happen to you is going to happen to you. So you fight with a woman and her baby die from it, the judge is going to look at the husband and say, what you want to happen? And whatever he says is going to happen to you. Read.
And he shall pay as the judges determine.
And then the judge is going to be like, yo, you got to pay this amount of money. Afterwards. Read.
And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe.
Right. So, and this goes on to the what you brought up earlier about the turning the other cheek, right? This was one of the instincts where they didn't understand turning the other cheek, tooth for tooth, eye for eye. So it's all right. So meaning what? So the spirit behind this, the tooth for tooth, eye for eye, right? That was in the law. If somebody knock your tooth out, you can knock their tooth out. Somebody take your eye out, you can take, their eye out. Whatever somebody do to you, you could do to them, right? But what was the actual thing that was really supposed to happen if somebody knock your tooth out? What actually was supposed to happen is you turn another cheek. I mean, if we have a nation of, okay, if everybody abide by this, then what does that leave us with? Everybody walking around with a tooth missing, an eye missing, a hand missing, because everybody is going to take the opportunity to pay back whatever happened to them. We can't have a nation like that where everybody got a bunch of eyes missing out of everybody and no teeth. Who's going to be the person to step up and say, okay, you know what? Even though he knocked my tooth out, I could go knock his out. But to be honest, my tooth should have been knocked out a long time ago, and I kept getting away. I'm gonna let him have that, and then letting it slide. He might eventually run into somebody and be like, you know what? He did this and that to me. I'm gonna let it slide. And then now everybody is having a spirit of, I could do it, but I'm not because I deserve it. That's one thing people don't think. It's like, you don't think that you might have deserved it? I mean, you had it coming. It happened. You could go back and do the same thing to him, but what is that doing? That's just going to keep going back and forth. Who's going to be the one that say, you know what, I'm going to just let it go. I deserve it. And that's what Christ came and taught. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I know it's supposed to be like that, but I say turn the other cheek. Like eventually, in most instances, you should have been dead. Let alone you worried about your damn eye missing. You should have been dead. The fact that you're not dead should be enough. Somebody had mercy on you to not kill you. That's why you're still here. So at least have the same mercy on the next brother. And that's what Christ came and taught about mercy, having mercy. And that's something we don't have in the black community. And the proof is, go to the local bar and step on somebody's fresh pair of sneaks on the accident. They're going to swear you did it on purpose because you was hating or something. You know how many people I know that is dead because of something they did 10, 15 years ago. And they finally seen the person. Man, I was watching an interview. I forgot this guy name. He snitched on somebody in the 80s.
White boy rape?
It might be him.
It was a white boy.
It was an Edomite. Yep. I think
white boy
rape. Snitched on somebody, and this is back in like the 80s, he told on these niggas. And he was on the run with him and his wife. When they court him, he was like 80 or probably 90 something.
Oh, no, that wasn't.
So it wasn't him? This Edomite, when they court him, he had to be like 80 or 90 something. He was on the run for so long. And they finally caught him, and he was like 80 or in his 90s. 2 days in jail, they found him dead with his tongue cut out, with a note on him saying he shouldn't have snitched.
Dang.
And he snitched in the 80s. So more than likely, the person that killed him wasn't even born then.
Right.
He's just carrying over what somebody told him to do because they never forgave him for it. Go ahead.
If I could, I remember my first time ever going to CFCF. People that don't know that's a Philadelphia County jail.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there, I was in Holden, getting ready to go to, I think, population.
Right.
So I'm in my cell, just sitting there mad as hell. And I'm like, just, sit in my cell, and I'm seeing like this dude. I'm hearing this dude in his cell, in the holding cell, like, yo, that motherfucker ratting on me. That motherfucker ratting on me. And the white boy comes to the door. I mean, this white boy, listen, white boy, tattoos and all that. He's like, what? Who ratting? Now, they being transferred from different jails. They don't know him from a can of paint.
Right.
He ran who? Who here ran who? He's like, that nigga in the cell with you right now. That nigga ran it. So, it's 3 dudes in the cell. One of the bulls ran it. He's like, yo, you ran it? I'm like, no. Yo, man. He's like, yo, that nigga ran on me, dog. Yo, he gotta be Tom. He said, word. When I say they beat the hell out of this dude, they was beating him so bad. Yeah, boom, 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 boom. That's all you hear. Boom, 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 boom. White boy will come to the door like this. No guard, go right back. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, they was taking like it was insane. The black boy, he comes to the door, look around, boom, boom, boom. I mean, the boy in the joint, he like, yeah, what that? Fuck that nigga up. He whooped his ass. When he came out the cell, he was like, not bloody. You know what I'm saying? And I learned a Bible lesson. This is a sidebar. Don't snitch. Because if you
do not snitch. You do not promote that. Do not snitch.
If you snitch, that do not go well. Like you,
because snitching is different. Snitching is you doing a crime with somebody, knowing you going to do a crime, and you just telling because you got caught to get last time. It's not the IUIC.
Right.
If you do that, you do that time for your goddamn brother. If you know you was going to do something and got caught up, do not give up everybody to be out here these goddamn. Do that time for your brother. Now we ain't saying do no illegal activities, but whatever situation you might end up in, do not goddamn snitch. You knew it was going to happen. Everything went according to plan. You just got caught, so you want to tell on everybody. Us here at the ISUPK do not promote that in any way, shape, or form. We is not gonna be telling no niggas because we did. You like you sit here and tell me about, and some camps do this. When I say this is actually real. A brother told me. I was telling him about stuff that I used to do in the world, right? Now I've been in this truth for probably like 10 years, right? So I've been telling, like, sometimes I get in the conversation and tell brothers and stuff that I did in the world, right? I'm not that same person. One brother told me, this was a few years ago, he ain't in the school no more. He was like, yo, it's crazy because if you was in the IUIC, I would have to stop you from telling me what you're saying right now. I kind of want to stop you anyway because, okay, if I was in the IUIC, I would have to stop you. And I was like, why the hell would you have to stop me? I don't like this, it happened. I'm not that same person. He like, nah, it's the fact that you telling me I would have to go snitch to the police. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, that's like an order. Like I have to go, from what you telling me, I would have to go and report it to the police. Or I would have to go report it to the heads of the school and they would kick you out for it. And I was like, what if it had been 5 years ago? No matter how long it happened. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. Don't be that. Where you just listening like, you stole what? A pair of sneakers in 2007? 911? Yeah, when that riot happened, I know who stole them Nikes. I got them right. Don't be that, man. So like you have to hand up the car?
Concert on Time Check 901. And that's why their leader was twerking on stage. Good night. Like, the whole thing.
I don't know if they'll say that. That was terrible.
To avoid getting yourself in any of those type of situations, stay out the mix. You know what I mean? Stay in ISUPK. You know the certain individual. You know your niggas. You know
right.
Your folks.
You know who you can go out with. You know, like this dude a hothead. I can't go out with him.
Yeah, like for instance, right? I love my little brother. As he told me, I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna pull up on you. He said, nah, don't do that. Because he in Jersey in the world, and he said, no, I want to tell you to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta know what you're getting yourself into.
Right, facts.
You know what I mean? Dealing with an individual, like you driving in, if you know that they in the mix, don't drive in their car. You know what I'm saying? You know that they got somebody on their head, don't get in that car. Because it might just happen, you know what I mean? They might see somebody like, yo, I got to drop him right now. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be vice versa. Somebody got to jump on him. Y'all got to shoot it out.
Facts. And you in the world with them. And now you got to hire a lawyer and everything to explain what the hell happened and all that. But the school is definitely the answer. And real quick, I'll get to you real quick, right? I done heard many stories. And one of them, right? It was a brother in school at one point. And he was on the run. And I'll tell you how the school found out. Brother was on the run for like 10 years, right? He left the school the very next day. SWAT team, FBI, all of them came, swarmed his house, and finally caught him and locked his ass up. And that's how the school found out. So for 10 years, he was on the run. Mind you, he's out on the street speaking every week. He's on, tapes and TV and all that. And he's completely in the mix. And he's on the run, on the FBI most wanted list, and they looking for him. And then the moment he leave the school, the very next day, they come kick in his goddamn door. And of course, he's on the phone calling the school, asking for help. You just told us you didn't want to be here, whatnot. But because of the type of person Commander General Yohana is, he have some mercy on brothers or whatnot. But it's definitely a brother who was in the school for 10 years on the run, and nobody knew how long he was on the run or he was even on the run. He's out at camp faithfully. And now he's in jail because they finally caught his ass. Like, yo, we finally got you in Lincoln. The moment he leave the school, they got his ass. And so, like, you had your hand up?
Yes, sir. I had a question about the scripture. What's the definition of mischief in this context? When it says if no mischief follow.
Host, you said what's the definition of mistress?
Mischief.
Right, mischief.
In this context.
All right, let's look it up. Look up the definition.
Like I said, it's the definition in this context would be harm or trouble caused by someone or something.
Right.
So if it says no mischief follow, meaning that if they don't get into it afterwards.
Nah. All right. So read the scripture if you're still holding it for me. What was that? Exodus 21.
Exodus chapter 21, the 22nd verse. Mm-hmm. If a man strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished, according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life.
Oh, okay. All right. So read the definitions of mistress. Because it's a few of them in the context that'll let you know which one this is.
So it says playfulness that is intended to tease, mock, or create trouble, harm or trouble caused by someone or something. A person responsible for harm or annoyance.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
All right. So, and then read the scripture one more time.
Exodus 21, verse 22.
Right.
If a man strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished. Now,
no mischief following after he didn't strive with her. Meaning what? What is the no mischief following? That's going to lead him to be punished.
So I guess what's confusing me is if it's no harm, well, harm came to her because
of the baby died.
Right.
So if he's going to get punished if they figure it was no mischief in this. So what mischief would have to happen? Mischief would have to happen for him to not be punished. The playful. Remember, one of the definitions, read the definition again.
Playful misbehavior or troublemaking especially in children.
Right. So it's playful misbehavior, meaning you playing too rough with somebody. So if you with a pregnant woman or something and you playing, but it's misbehavior, meaning you too rough with it to the point where she lose her child. Now, if they find that in it, then you don't get put to death. Like, all right, he was playing a little too much and you just happen to lose the baby. That's why I say if no mischief was found in it, he shall be punished. So if they find mischief in it, then you don't get punished for it, meaning you was just playing a little too much, but you didn't intend to hurt the baby. You was just playing. Playful misbehaving. You was just playing a little too much. That's what playful misbehaving is. You was playing too goddamn much, and she ended up losing the baby because of it. So read on the scripture.
Verse 23, and if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life.
Now, what is the mischief that follow? You meant to harm her. You was, let's go back to the definition. I'll read it for time's sake. Playfulness that intended to tease, mock, or create trouble, harm, or trouble caused by someone. So meaning, if they found mischief in it, meaning that they felt like you was doing all this to cause trouble and to harm her. So you might have did some things to get a reaction out of her that's going to make you react to harm her in a way. If they find that, then you gotta die because the baby died. But if you was playing a little too much and she end up tripping or something and lose the baby or whatever scenario that might happen that you didn't intentionally try to make her lose the baby, then you don't get punished for it. But if you did something with the intentions on her losing the baby, then you gotta die because the baby died or whatnot. So let's read that from the top real quick.
Exodus 21, verse 22. If men strive and hurt a woman with child.
Now, if you strive and you hurt a woman with the child, read.
So that her fruit depart from her.
So her fruit, the fruit depart from her is the baby. It's depart from her, it dies. Read.
And yet no mischief follow.
But no, they didn't find any mischief with this. Read.
He shall be surely punished.
They didn't feel like he was playing a little too much. That's why you got to get punished. Because it wasn't playful misbehavior. You wasn't just playing a little too much to where as though she ended up losing her baby. It wasn't an accident. So read on.
According as the woman's husband will lay upon him.
Right, according. So whatever the husband wants, then it gotta happen to you. Read.
And he shall pay as the judges determine.
Mm-hmm.
And if any mischief follows.
But if they do find out you did this on purpose, you wasn't just playing to hurt her. You really did this so you can hurt her. Read.
Then thou shalt give life for life.
Then you gotta die too. So if you wanted her baby to die, so you like, yo, I know she don't like when I do this, but I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna do it anyway. And then when she do it and she turn around and slap you, you like, yo, who you hitting? Bang, 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 bang. And you do something and now she end up losing her baby, you gonna sit in front of the judges, they gonna ask you a few questions and they gonna say, yo, you know what? I think he did this on purpose. He knew she didn't like that. Why would he do it if he knew she didn't like it? It was mischief, meaning he intended to do that. He intended to act that way to cause harm. But then there's another instance where it's like, okay, tell us the story. I can't, it wasn't no mischief, man. No mischief. He was just playing a little too much and it just happened. I don't think he intended to do that. You know, he was just a little playful, a little too playful, and it happened. So based off of the context, that's how you can put if it's no mischief or if it's mistress. Mischief. That's why in one instance he don't die, in another instance he do end up dead. So did I answer your question? Or you had anything else? All right. And any other questions before we wrap it up? All right, with that, pass the class over to priest and officer in the car.